All right, future officers, SSC CGL, बैंकिंग, रेलवे, इन सब एग्जाम्स में ना कंप्यूटर सेक्शन में एक क्वेश्चन है जो हमेशा स्टूडेंट्स को कंफ्यूज करता है. It's a really simple question, but the options, they're tricky. Let's take a look.
So just think about it. You're making a presentation and you need to add a new slide. What do you press? Is it Control plus N or Control plus M? This one little confusion can cost you a whole mark in your exam. But hey, don't you worry. Welcome to my channel. मैं हूँ आयुषी अग्रवाल, and after today's explainer, I promise you, not a single PowerPoint question will go wrong. That's my guarantee.
All right, let's dive right in. We're going to start from the absolute basics because, having a strong foundation is everything. In this first section, we'll cover those fundamentals that are turned into direct questions in your exams. Okay, so how do you even start PowerPoint? Well, the first method, the traditional one from the Start menu, everyone knows that, right? But the examiners, they're smart. They ask about the professional method. What you do is press the Window key plus R. This opens up the Run command box. And in that box, you type PowerPoint. Now pay close attention to the spelling. The examiner will try to trap you by giving PowerPoint as an option. The correct command is just POWERPNT. Make a note of that. This is a super important concept. So, up until 2003, the file extension was just .ppt. But from 2007 onwards, it became .pptx. Now, the million-dollar question is, why was this X added? Well, that X stands for XML, which is Extensible Markup Language. What this does is it gives the file a better structure, it makes the files lighter, and most importantly, the chances of these files getting corrupted are way, way lower. It just makes the file much more robust. All right, let's move on to our next section, which is all about key terms. Now, this is where you get those direct, definition-based questions. If you know what these words mean, your marks are practically guaranteed. So let's break them down, one by one. First up, the most basic term of all, a slide. So what is a slide? It's simple, really. Just like a notebook has pages, a presentation has slides. It's basically a single screen or a single page of your presentation. Easy enough, right? Next up, we have placeholder. You know when you add a new slide and you see those dotted boxes that say things like click to add title? Yep, those are placeholders. Their only job is to reserve a space for your stuff, like text, an image, or a chart. And what about an object? Well, pretty much any element you put on a slide, whether it's text, a photo, a shape, or a chart, all of it is an object. To put it simply, anything you can click on, move around, or resize, that's an object. Okay, now we're getting into a super high-yield topic, PowerPoint views. This is a favorite for exams, especially SSC CGL. You'll definitely see match the following or direct MCQs from here. So let's pay close attention. So PowerPoint gives us a bunch of different views to work with. We're not going to go through all of them, but we are going to focus on the ones that are most important from an exam point of view, the ones that they ask about again and again. Okay, listen up, because this question gets repeated a lot, so put a star mark on this in your notes. The key word for outline view is only text. Just remember that. In this view, all the graphics, all the images, everything disappears. You only see the written text from your slides. It's perfect for structuring your content. So remember, outline equals only text. Next, we have the slide sorter view, and this is so useful. In this view, you see all of your slides together as these little miniatures or thumbnails. From here, you can just drag and drop them to change their order, or you can easily delete a slide. It's the perfect view for setting up the entire flow of your presentation. All right, let's tackle the one topic where most students make mistakes and where examiners are guaranteed to ask a question. I'm talking about animation versus transition. I promise, after the next 2 minutes, you will never be confused about this again. Now, this is where SSC sets a trap, so listen carefully. An animation always applies to the elements inside a slide. The objects, like when text flies in or an image fades out. A transition, on the other hand, is the effect that happens between the slides when you move from one slide to the next. So the key takeaway is this. Animation is within the slide and transition is between the slides. Simple. Okay, so now look at how they'll ask you about this in the exam. Take a moment and think about the answer. We just discussed this. Got it? Exactly. The correct answer is B. Transitions are applied between slides, and animations are applied to objects on the slides. See? Simple and clear. All right, let's keep the momentum going and move to our next section, shortcut keys. Now, this is pure memorization, I know, but it's also where you can get some easy, guaranteed marks. So let's look at the most important ones. So these are the basic shortcuts, and they're pretty much common across Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. I'm sure you already know most of these. My advice? Just take a quick screenshot of this so you have it handy for a quick revision. And now, for the biggest trap of them all. You should put a double star mark on this one. Okay, so Control-N opens a completely new presentation, a brand new file. But Control-M adds a new slide to your current presentation. Let me repeat that because it's so important. M is for more slides in your current file, and N is for a new presentation. Remember that little trick?
Okay, team, it's time to put what we've learned to the test. I'm going to read a question. I'll give you about 3 seconds, and I want you to think of the answer before I reveal it. Are you ready? Let's do this. First question. Which view displays only the text content of the slides? And the correct answer is A, outline view. Remember that keyword we talked about? Outline means only text. See? If you remember the keyword, you get the answer in a split second. Question number 2. What is the default orientation of slides in PowerPoint? Are they vertical or horizontal? The right answer is B, landscape. Now, this is a very basic question, but it gets asked surprisingly often. Just always remember, PowerPoint slides are in landscape mode by default.
Okay, this one's a little trickier. If you want to apply the exact same animation effect, let's say a fly-in effect, to 10 different objects, what tool would you use? The answer is A, Animation Painter. Think of it this way. You know how Format Painter copies formatting like bold or color? Well, Animation Painter does the exact same thing, but for animations. It copies the entire animation style from one object and lets you paste it onto another. All right, so let's quickly revise everything from this session on one single slide. These are the 4 most important takeaways. First, remember, M for more slides, N for new presentation. Second, animation is for objects, transition is for slides. Third, outline view means only text. And fourth, the new file extension is .pptx, where that X stands for XML. Got it?
I really hope you found this session useful and that all your concepts are crystal clear now. If you enjoyed this explainer, please hit that like button, share it with your friends who are also preparing for exams, and don't forget to subscribe.